Buyer beware, 5 free agents to think twice about. It's almost time for free agency, and there are sure to be a number of interesting deals signed. Some players will come at a bargain, while others certainly will not. And after the summer, but there isn't always one safe approach. Sometimes so let's check out a few guys in the upcoming free agent class and consider which players could end up getting contracts they struggle to live up to. Tobias Harris is going to field solid deals this summer. Teams will expect, however, during his brief stint in Philadelphia, he was not the most reliable spot-up shooter despite connecting on more than 40% of his triples to start the season with the Clippers. With the ball in his hands more, he might perform better from distance, but what will that mean for the greater offense of the team that signs him? Harris is entering his prime, and there is sure to be a situation where he flourishes and provides a lot from all over the floor, but how much he touches the ball and how much he costs should be a priority for teams. Coming off his first All-Star season, D'Angelo Russell will very likely take another leap forward next season. However, Russell improved as a three-point shooter last season, and that will likely carry over, but there are still questions about just how much of the load he can carry and whether or not he's worth a max investment. In March, when he's still young, so there's plenty of reason to think Russell will adjust to carrying more of the burden and get accustomed to drawing contact and getting calls. There's no guarantee. This time last year, Terry Rozier seemed like he was in line for a major payday. Trouble returning. Rozier might flourish off the bench outside of Boston and in a slightly different system, where he's needed to be more aggressive. But after his either way, despite a strong showing in Boston's run to the Eastern Conference Finals on the strength of young legs, there are enough reasons to be skeptical of what you would get out of Rozier. His shooting is still, this one pains me to write, but it just seems like Brook Lopez's new contract is going to be a little too big after his resurrection in Milwaukee. The man just decided he was going to become one of the best shooting bigs in the game 3 years ago, and he cemented himself as just that last season. And while the shot is, depending on matchups, he could become a defensive liability, and with little ball handling ability, it makes you wonder if you're better off spending that money for a wing or a guard who can shoot. Or maybe a center. With Nikola Mirotic, there are some similarities to Brook Lopez when it comes to his value as a floor spacer, but there are also possible concerns about whether or not he will be exploited on defense in the playoffs, and after injuries slowed him up a bit this past season, it might be fair to wonder if those are going to pop up again. But bigger than that was how he was left on the bench for Milwaukee's season-ending defeat to the Raptors. The regular season, Mirotic has enough shooting and is getting ready to enter his prime. He could easily play. Related slideshow: the top picks in the NBA draft provided by Emane.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.